In one of my previous videos, I showed you how to get longer exposures during the daytime with or without an ND grad by taking multiple photos and blending them together in Photoshop. Now, if you don't have Photoshop, or you simply can't be bothered to do it all in Photoshop, and you want to do it all in camera, then in this video I'm going to show you how to do exactly that in camera. In most Canon cameras, and in most Nikon cameras, and probably most other cameras too, there is a feature called multiple exposure mode. Now, I showed you how to use this multiple exposure mode to turn yourself into a ghost in another one of my previous videos. If you haven't seen that, then I'll stick a link to that up here. But basically, we're going to use the multiple exposure mode to also give us a longer exposure. Essentially, what the multiple exposure mode does is it allows you to take up to 9 consecutive photos and blend them all into one photo. Now, the difference here is that you don't have to do it in Photoshop or any other editing software on the computer. The whole process is done in camera. Now, of course, the biggest advantage to this is that you don't need Adobe Photoshop to do this. And Adobe Photoshop is an expensive piece of software. So if you don't have it, or if you simply don't want to mess around doing it all in post-processing, then this is a quick and easy way to do it. The downside is that you can only shoot up to a maximum of 9 exposures, whereas if you do it the way I showed you in Photoshop, you can take as many exposures as you like. So this limits you to up to 9 exposures. The other downside is that you have no control essentially over the processing of each photo before they're blended. Basically, each photo is blended automatically into one photo, and you can save this as a RAW. It's not just saved as a JPEG, so that is a big advantage. So all 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 exposures, however many you take, it's all compiled into one multiple exposure, and it's still saved as a RAW, so you can still process it as a RAW, which is a good thing, because sometimes, depending on the conditions and the light, sometimes you can get some irregularities in the colors, and so you might need to do some color correction in post-processing, or some white balance adjustments as well, because like with using an ND filter, sometimes the multiple exposures, you get a bit of a blue tint to it. So you sometimes need to adjust the white balance, which of course you can do in post-processing only if you saved it as a RAW. Okay, so like with all pictures, do this and save it in RAW. Now, just like with any long exposure, there mustn't be any movement during the exposure, but also in this case there mustn't be any movement between photos, because you're going to take multiple photos, and because you're going to blend them all, they must all line up. If there's any movement between photos, then you're going to get ghosting. It's not going to line up, and it's going to look really odd. Okay, so it's essential that you have a very sturdy tripod, that everything is fixed nice and tight, and everything is set, and nothing moves between exposures. Now, you're going to need one of these remote shutter release button controls, or cables, or a wireless one, whatever, but as long as you've got it, and as long as you've got one that has the ability to, if I show you here, to click and lock, because you want to lock that down, because there mustn't be any gaps between photos. If there is any gap, any time difference between photos, then your long exposure is going to look odd. There's going to be gaps and it's not going to match. It's not going to look right. So it's essential that you have one of these, and one that you can click and lock. If you don't have one that you can lock, but I think most of them do, to be honest, make sure you have a firm hold of that shutter while it's firing away. Okay. Now, when doing this, I suggest that you set your camera to full manual. That way you'll keep your exposure consistent across all photos. Also, use manual focus. Now, what you can do, essentially, one little trick is to put it onto autofocus and get your composition set. let it focus, and then once it's set, switch it to manual focus. That way it's set and it's not going to move. Now the reason for this is that, first of all, if you have it on autofocus, if your finger slips or anything, it could possibly, between exposures, try to refocus, and that way you're going to lose, actually you're going to have a gap between your photos. So this will prevent that happening. Also, what happens with the multiple exposure mode is that after it takes the first photo, it then underexposes the next set of photos by a little bit. Now it does this just to control the background and control the exposure, so when blending you don't get any overexposed parts in the scene. Now if you set it to, say, aperture priority and let the camera measure the light and calculate the shutter speed, for example, you know, essentially calculating the exposure, if you let the camera do that, now I find what happens is that when you're using the live view at the back to start this, it takes the first photo according to what you've set, but then for the next photo it takes a reading not through the live view but through the viewfinder, which essentially it takes it from a different part of the scene, and probably in most cases it takes it from a brighter part of the scene. And when I've done that in the past, I've found that my final image has been very badly underexposed. So I find that to calculate your exposure first hand, set it all up, and then lock that in with your manual settings. That way it will underexpose it a touch, but it won't take a second reading and really underexpose it. And this way the picture comes out just right. So as I said, what we're going to do here is take multiple exposures and blend them all into one long exposure. Now this is extremely useful if you don't have a neutral density filter, if you're shooting during the day when it's very bright and it's very difficult to get a long exposure. If you don't have a neutral density filter, then this can be a problem. But even if you have a neutral density filter, maybe it's not strong enough. Now the one I've got on here is a 6-stop, and even with a 6-stop, and I've got a polarizer on here too, so with a 6-stop ND filter and with a polarizer, I'm still only getting 2.5 seconds. Now the clouds are not moving that fast. 2.5 seconds is not really enough to give you that nice streaky cloud effect. So what I can do here, I can take up to 9 times 2.5 seconds. So I can multiply that 2.5 seconds by 9 and make it almost 25 seconds, a little less. So this is an extremely useful feature. If you don't have a strong ND filter, or even if you do, even if you've got a 10-stop, but you want even longer, so basically whatever you have, you can multiply that by up to 9 times. So now I'll show you on the back of the camera how we navigate to this feature and how we set it up to do this. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I did that in my previous video, the tutorial on how to turn yourself into a ghost. I went a bit more into detail there, so if you want to know much more, then go check out that other video. But for now I'll show you what we need to do to set it up for this. So I'm using a Canon 5D Mark III. If yours is not quite the same as this, then just check out your instruction manual in your camera, and also if you can't find it, check your instruction manual to see if you actually have this feature. Essentially you go to the menu settings here and you go to the camera settings, and you'll find it down here in this case in the 3rd row, multiple exposure. Okay, now one thing I will say, when it comes to aspect ratio, you can only do this in the standard aspect ratio. Unfortunately, you can't do it in any of the others. So that's again another downside to this. But you can always crop it later, so it's no big deal really. Okay, you want to so basically you want to ideally have mirror lockup. That way there'll be no vibration if the mirror's jumping up and down between exposures. And then, so come here, come to multiple exposure mode, press set to open up the menu. Okay, now this is the important bit here, multiple exposure control. You've got options here of additive, average, bright and dark. you want to set this to average for the long exposure feature, so it averages out all of the exposures into one long one. Here you can set the number of exposures, so as I said, you can go from 2 to a maximum of 9, so however many you want to set. You don't have to do all 9. If you've got a 30-second exposure already and you want to make it a 60-second, then just do it twice. So it's entirely up to you, but in this case I'm going to set it to 9. Now you can save source images as result only or all images. I think in some features you can only have the option to save the result only, but I always just save the result only. I don't bother saving all of them, but you can do that if you want to. Okay, now continue multiple exposure. This option here, basically if you set it to one shot only, once you've done it, it will immediately disable it. So the next time you take a photo, it's back to normal mode. Or if you set it continuously, it will stay set until you turn it off. So that's quite useful if you want to keep doing them more and more, one after another, or if you just want to do one and go back to normal. I always set it to one shot only because sometimes I forget and I leave it. So up here, this is where you start. Okay, now you want to set it to continuous shooting. That's what you want. Okay, now what you also want to do is make sure that you set your shutter to silent continuous shooting. Okay, it must be continuous, and ideally I find that silent is the best option, because in this feature even high speed would be good, but for some reason it disables the mirror lockup feature. So I find that the silent continuous shooting works best, because then that actually does keep the mirror locked up. So that's the best option to set. Silent continuous shooting. Okay, so once you've got all that ready, multiple exposure mode on continuous shooting. Now you can see here I've set everything. I've got my ISO down to 100 as low as possible. I've got an f16 and I've got 2.5 second exposure. Okay, now I've got a bit of cloud drifting in, so let's see what we can do with that. And now I'm going to recompose my shot. Now the cloud is not moving super fast, so even at 2.5 seconds this will be good. So I'm going to turn my autofocus on. I've set that. Now I'm going to flick it to manual. You can see that if I switch this off, I'm in full manual mode. So I've got 2.5 seconds at f16 fixed. That's not going to change. Okay, let's just double check that's still on. And now I'm going to take 9 photos. When you get that pause, that means it's finished. And here is the result. I'll put it up on the screen now. If we compare that to an ordinary 2.5 seconds, so now you can see that multiple exposure mode is disabled. If we compare that to an ordinary 2.5 seconds, so if we compare that to, that's the multiple exposure mode, so that's 9 times 2.5 seconds, that's just 2.5 seconds. And I'll put them both up on the screen now so you can see them side by side. So there you have it, an easy way to get a longer exposure using the multiple exposure mode and doing it all in camera. Hope you've enjoyed this, hope you found it useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and check out all my other videos. Thanks for watching.